We're live in 10.
Trevino's going.
Here it comes.
$700 to see Hamilton? Wow.
Say what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, you'll be brave.
You're listening to Daybreak USA.
All right, we have talked about the debates all morning long. I hope you've enjoyed our coverage. We are going to cover some other news stories as well this morning. So, Chris, that boy who made the homemade clock that the teacher said, hey, I didn't know the kid was making a homemade clock. So the police came because there were wires sticking out of like his pencil box, and they were a little afraid. Apparently, his dad's suing people now.
Yeah, this is the kid that ended up, he went to the White House. Remember, Obama invited him to the White House and ended up using this clock that many people say he didn't actually build anyway. It was sort of he took the inside out of an actual clock and just kind of said, oh, I made a clock. But in any case, long story short, the family now won't let the thing just die. The father of the teenager is now charging that a number of news outlets, including Glenn Beck, Fox News, a bunch of other ones, defamed the family and his son by suggesting that they were a family of terrorists. And that by, giving him this notoriety, it was a big bad thing for he and the family. So
Didn't they,
anyway, we got in this. They supposedly went back to I forget where they're from, but they went back to their native land, and yet now somehow they're back and litigating this whole.
And I understand they
story.
also sued the school as well, which come on.
Yeah, and I forget how that worked out. Yeah, they already tried suing the school. Now they're trying suing the news media.
Well, they sure like the system, that's for sure. All right, and then people in Iowa, I know, are facing a flood threat. More than 10,000 people have been evacuated in Cedar Rapids, where the Cedar River is expected to crest at 23 feet this morning and stay at that level for 6 hours. I know you've been covering this morning, Chris, so things are a real mess there.
Yeah, it's on the rise. They were given plenty of warning. That's the good thing about our modern age in terms of predicting flooding. You can't always predict everything about the weather, but flooding is a pretty good science. So they warned people to be out of the way of this by, I think, 8 o'clock Sunday evening. They were supposed to be out of the low-lying areas, and all the businesses in these expected flood areas were supposed to be closed. So they seem to feel pretty sure that they've gotten everybody out of harm's way, but when it comes to damage, that's another story. It's going to be a big mess there, though luckily not quite to the historic levels they saw back in 2008.
All right, John, Houston police officer resigns after surveillance video emerges showing him beating a civilian at a train station with his baton. The guy appeared to be sleeping. Some words were exchanged, and then he started just wailing on him with the baton. So then once it surfaced, he just resigned?
Yeah, I guess after that video, maybe he didn't know it was being taped. Yeah, Jarius Warren and his partner, Daniel Reynoso, they approached the guy. And like you said, he looked like he was sleeping. They start hitting him with a baton. The video comes out, and then Houston police chief, they acknowledged that Warren had used excessive force against Giles, and so eventually he resigned.
Interesting. I always wish there was audio, but yes, just assume that anywhere you're doing something that you're being videotaped, and I guess that's character, what you do when you think no one's watching, but by the way, people are watching. All right, this is so bizarre. So in Austria, the customs, they're used to finding all kinds of things in luggage. And so they checked this woman's Samsonite, and they found packed in tightly plastic containers. It was packed in formaldehyde. It was the intestines of her husband. Okay, I know you're like, whoa, what? And I'm like, what? And then, but then as I read through it, she thought that he'd been poisoned. So she brought the tissue to another country in order to get the cause of death, because she was told that it was an intestinal obstruction. And she really thought he'd been poisoned. I mean, it is so bizarre. I can't imagine how even.
So her trip was actually motivated by that item in her luggage. In other words, she doesn't just routinely carry it around now and go, well, I forgot I left it in the luggage. No,
correct.
So that's why she was traveling. Okay.
She wanted it, his intestines tested to see if he'd been poisoned. I don't know.
Can't you ship them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, why not leave? Yeah, let the professionals do it, and it's more sanitary.
I don't know if FedEx will transport portions of your dead husband, but I'll look into it for future reference.
I don't remember any slogans to that nature.
No. I mean, it's sad. Sad she lost her husband, and she wants to know
when the
what
remains
happened.
of your husband absolutely positively have to be there overnight.
Right.
Ship them FedEx.
Yes.
No,
Yeah. But
that's not-
you have to pay extra for that. All right. So,
Yeah.
Chris, a mom apparently wrote a note about her daughter to school, and the note was about teenageritis or something.
Yeah, well, they had a kind of a rough morning. This is a mom who has a daughter who's 14 years of age, and I guess it's not the first time that she had trouble getting her act together and getting out the door on time. So this California mom decided to be a little snarky. So she wrote, the daughter requested a note to excuse the fact that she was going to be late to school.
Yeah.
Her mom said, okay, fine, I'll write you the note, so you go get ready. So the mom pens the note, and she basically blames it on the girl's, quote, teenageism. The best way to do it is read a part of the note. Kara is tardy this morning as a result of a condition known as teenageism. Adolescents across our great nation are afflicted with it. There's no known cure. Symptoms are multitudinous, but this particular morning, Kara suffered from the inability to remove herself from her bed and also felt the need to talk back to her birth giver. She seems to be recovering her senses after watching her cell phone fly out the car window. Please call me if there's another flare-up. Thank you, Nicole Popick. Now, apparently that last reference is mom also, on the way to school, they were still going at it. So she threw Kara's phone out the window, but they eventually found it undamaged in the neighbor's yard.
All right.
She actually walked Kara in and made her give this note to the principal. This wasn't just a joke.
It's not just teenagers. Yesterday, my daughter had 9-year-old itis, and so everyone's in the car, grand, and my other kids, and she can't find her shoes, and we have strict rules about where the shoes go, and they're in 2 places, and they weren't there, and I'm like, this is why we have strict rules about where the shoes go, where the soccer stuff goes, the baseball stuff goes. It all has a place, because then they don't make it to school. So she was late for school, and she lost it. I found all of her shoes sprinkled throughout her room later. Sprinkled.
Oh my goodness.
All right,
I'm
thank you guys.
Someday, and I'm gonna claim 56-itis.
56-itis. All right, thank you,
tell
friends.
Floyd, I would have been there, but I had 56-itis.
56-itis. You only have 1 hour of sleep, so you apparently don't have 56-itis.
I've never slept much ever, so this